Welcome to MakilalaTV. Filipinos are largely a Catholic people, with more than 80% belonging to the Roman Catholic religion. Filipino-Americans, on the other hand, are not as monolithic. While Catholics are still in the majority, it is not a solid, hardcore bloc. We are more likely to meet Philams who are Jewish, Episcopalian, Methodist, or not belonging to any religion at all. And the good thing about that is, in this society, they're not looked down as religious renegades. Me and my co-hosts, Jen Fuhrer and Rachelle Ocampo, decided to bring faith to the table today because we wanted to talk about religion, which is facing a lot of challenges. There is the challenge coming from other beliefs, the challenge of redefining marriage and gender, and the challenge of sex abuse cases facing Catholic priests. We invited two non-Catholics with us today because we wanted to know how their faiths are confronting the same issues. Our first guest is Wendell Gaa. Wendell works at the Philippine Consulate as the Political and Economic Affairs Assistant. Wendell was raised as a third-generation Seventh-day Adventist. He graduated from the Glendale Adventist Academy in Southern California and earned his bachelor's degree in journalism and mass media at Andrews University in Berrien Springs, Michigan. Welcome to Makilala, Wendell.
Thank you.
Benjie is a musical conductor and a Protestant from the United Church of Christ. His parents are from two different religions. His mother is a Catholic and his father is a Protestant. He was born a Protestant and received confirmation at the age of 12. Welcome to Makilala, Benjie.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start with you, Benjie. Why did you choose to be Protestant instead of Catholic?
Well, there comes a point in life that you just have to make a decision which religion in which mirrors your worldview or how you view life. And I guess I decided to choose being a Protestant.
Oh, did you make the choice at an early age?
I think that there was a sort of conscious decision in my part that, yes, I wanted to be a Protestant.
And what did your mom say?
I mean, she has been...
She was not jealous that you chose your father's religion?
Yeah, she was okay with it.
Okay.
Let's just say that even when I was a kid, even though I was born a Protestant, I go to Mass. Yeah.
A Catholic Mass, you mean?
A Catholic Mass,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Were you baptized? Usually the religion of the children comes from the religion of the mother. So were you baptized
In the
Catholic?
Jewish, I think that's in the Jewish tradition.
Oh, I guess it's in my tradition.
But I've heard of that.
Yeah.
But in my case, I mean, according to my birth certificate, it says there that I'm Protestant.
Okay.
And then, but because my mom is a Catholic school teacher, so there are times like I have to join her to school sometimes, and then I would attend Mass every Saturday, and then on Sunday I go to a Protestant church.
Oh, wow.
Wendell, you are a third generation.
Yes, that's right.
Adventist,
Third generation
right?
Adventist, yes.
So you were really born into this faith, right?
Yes, I was
you
born
did not
into the
convert.
faith.
Yes.
No.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, when I was born a third generation Adventist. My mom was the second generation Adventist in my family, and my father was born Aglipayan Catholic, which is
really?
A good majority of Romblon natives, the island province where he's from in the Philippines, many of them are Aglipayan Catholic. And when I was growing up, well, my parents didn't force upon this faith on me, but as a toddler, my mom and dad, they had a little talk, and they agreed that going to church would be a good way for me to have a strong social, strong religious, and a strong spiritual community network to help me develop and grow to become a better, matured person. And because of my dad's constant busy life as a working diplomat, and it was my mom who would have more time to attend church services every Saturday. So
that's why you adopted her religion.
They thought it would be best that I would take after my mom in attending services every Saturday.
But your dad still kept his Aglipayan religion throughout the marriage.
Yes, he's still faithful. He
Okay.
considers himself a faithful Aglipayan,
Okay,
even though
great.
he hasn't always had time to attend church services throughout the years.
Okay. Jen, you have a question about food?
Oh, no. It's like, I'm curious about the Seventh-day Adventists.
Yeah.
Because I get confused between that and Iglesia Ni Cristo, or is there any, I guess you could tell me more about like what practices.
Well, I
do you
can't
have?
speak on behalf of the Iglesia Ni Cristo.
So totally different.
Yes,
religion.
they
Okay.
are different. And with regards to our Adventist dietary restrictions or whatnot, we really much adhere to the Jewish traditions as laid out in the Old Testament, and that we really should maintain a healthy lifestyle. Vegetarian if possible, but if not, then there's no rule that
Yeah.
prohibits us or restricts us or forbids us from eating non-vegetarian food, as long as we abstain from eating certain meat, which is laid out in the first few chapters in Genesis, I believe it is, in which we need to avoid certain animals which are considered bottom dwellers or ground dwellers, animals that feed off the waste of other animals, like
okay.
pigs, for instance, pork, and
So you
us-
don't eat pork?
No, I don't
Because
eat
that's
pork.
considered.
It's considered unclean.
It's very
Unclean,
similar.
yes.
It's very
Unclean,
similar to
yes.
the Jewish faith. I mean, and you said very true to the Old Testament. In fact, your seventh day is actually a
Oh, yes,
Saturday and not Sunday like the Catholics.
Yes, and there are actually three elements which very much distinguish us Adventists from other Christian denominations. Well, one, we very much believe in the seventh day as the Sabbath
Yeah.
rule or concept as laid out in the Old Testament, and that God created the earth in 6 days, and then He rested on the Sabbath on the seventh day, which is Saturday, and that's one aspect of the Jewish religion that we very much take after. So we worship and we go to church on Saturdays, just like the Jews observe Saturdays as their Sabbath day, and also the number two, we very much adhere to healthy policy of vegetarianism, but not
Vegetarianism.
necessarily vegetarianism by strict rule of law. We just encourage it, and we
Yeah.
encourage our fellow members to live a healthy life of eating healthy foods and eating non-fatty foods such as tofu.
Okay.
And also a third principle that sets us apart is that we very much believe in what's called the Advent morning, hence the Adventist name in our church, and that we believe that there will be an Advent morning that will come when Jesus Christ will return one day from the heavens up in the clouds to claim us as His own, those who are faithful and who believe in Him. And when He claims us, we will live eternally with Him in heaven, and He will rid the world of sin permanently.
We will ask Benjie to give us the general principle also, the general belief of the UCC.
The UCC is basically pluralistic. We are very inclusive. And actually there are, most UCC churches have consist of various denominations. But basically we're coming from the Reformation, from the Reformed Church and the Congregational Church. We are, as Wikipedia says, that we are liberally, we are
You are
theologically
yeah,
liberal.
liberal.
Yeah.
You are also politically liberal, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember that the Reverend Jeremiah Wright is a leading member of your church,
Yeah.
and at the time,
And so is the president.
and so is the president,
Yeah.
and then they had a parting of ways. I don't know if you want to talk about that or not, but tell us a little bit about your beliefs along that line.
Okay.
You believe in same-sex marriages, marriage?
One great thing about the UCC is that they have been in the forefront in civil rights. So if it's a civil rights issue, for example, gay marriage, yes, we are, at least the synod, or at least the UCC church informs its members that we are okay with gay marriage. We have gay pastors and ministers, and that, for us, that shouldn't be an issue.
The Adventists, do you have a position against that? For or against that? Same-sex marriage?
I have never personally heard myself of any Adventist church policy that declares that gay marriages is wrong. based on my personal experience from the schooling I've received in both my high school and then my Adventist university, which is Andrews University, gay marriage is not something that we would morally support, because we really believe that man and women were really meant for each other, and we're meant to be together.
For the traditional
yes,
definition.
we're very much
of
for the
marriage.
traditional definition, because we believe that's how God created Adam, to be with Eve, and not with any other
Yeah.
So I
person.
remember reading in one of the bios that you don't really report to a single figure such as like the Pope. for
No,
the
we don't.
Catholics.
We don't
you
have a
actually have like
papacy.
a conference, or
We have a general conference headquarters, which is based in Silver Springs, Maryland, and there's a president of the general conference headquarters who helps to give administrative and also moral direction as to which path our church in contemporary times should be taking. But no, we do not have a central spiritual
Figurehead,
authority,
yeah.
a figurehead, just like the Pope. And over there in that, well, I've been to that church conference quite a few times, and I even, at one point, I even attended an alumni Sabbath service put together by the Adventist University of the Philippines way back in the late 90s. And the speaker there was Dr. Ben Carson, who currently is
One of the
he's an aspiring
aspirants, yeah.
candidate for the Republican
Yeah.
nomination for president. And of course, you probably heard on the news how Dr. Carson has had a very good reputation for being one of the world's top neurosurgeons.
Do you see your church redefining or refining its position on same-sex marriage at some point?
I don't imagine that.
Are you really very kind of closed-minded on that issue?
I don't see my church as, I wouldn't call my church being closed-minded, but I honestly cannot see my church making any sort of official announcement or position where we can sanction the same-sex marriage, because we really believe in a separation of religion and state-sanctioned activities, and I don't think our church in the near future would take any such
position.
official stance in announcing that same-sex marriage is wrong, and we should lobby through Congress that it's wrong because it's morally wrong. No, our church doesn't believe in official state-sanctioned
Benjie,
activities.
I have a question for you. Do you think that your religion, or even Wendell, either of your religions have actually prevented you from doing something that you really thought was either right, or that was fun, or that you really wanted to experience, but your religion kind of held you back?
How about you? What do you think?
Well, with regards to
Fun or
what you would define as fun, that's a very broad statement. Actually, traditionally, certain recreational activities like going to the movies has been controversial in our church, because we believe.
Really?
Yes,
Really?
Why?
It's
Or you're not allowed to watch certain films, for
there,
example?
well, it has to do with the fact that content-wise, there's a number of movies that would make many churchgoers in my faith very uncomfortable. The Exorcist, for one thing, yes.
That's okay. I wouldn't watch that.
I haven't seen that myself, but not because I believe that anybody who watches it would be condemned to hell. It's because that watching that, it hits too much close to home with regards to demonic possession.
But not like the Avengers.
Avengers. Oh no. Oh,
I was
no.
gonna say, I was like, we're on the same page with that.
Oh, I mean, there's no official church policy that forbids us from watching movies, but there's, like I said, there's certain content in certain films that would make many of us feel uncomfortable and very.
Are your churches? I'm a Catholic, but I find my religion very punitive. There's always a penalty, or you commit a sin if you do this or you do that. Do your religions have this kinds of codes of conduct? What is a sin to your religion and what is not a sin?
Well, here's the thing. It's hard to be a Christian. It is definitely. I mean, if you're going to say, like, if I'm, let's say, for 1 year, I'm going to follow every rule in the Bible, I mean, good luck. But the thing here is that I think for me, essentially, the essential message is basically God is love, Jesus is love, and God will always give you second chances. Many
I believe
chances.
in that too. I like that. Yeah.
Because we are going to make mistakes. I think that is the human condition.
I think I totally agree. I mean, as
Yeah.
a mother, I mean, you want your children to have religion so that they have a foundation, like what the principles and values. But it doesn't mean you're being judgmental at other religion. I mean, even I was raised Catholic. What did I say was? And I used to go to church every Sunday. This is the guilty me talking. I mean, I raised all my kids. They get confirmed, baptized, Catholic. But then I'm married to a Jewish family. But it doesn't mean that that your religion is better than my religion, or your practices are totally different. I mean, you're right. I mean, you can't practice every single rule that is set out for the Catholic faith. I mean, I have cousins who are priests. I mean, my uncle's a priest. My aunt's a nun. My dad was an ex-seminarian. I mean, they have rules of celibacy and poverty, and I know they're not being, followed through. But then.
Are they cafeteria Catholics? Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, I heard about cafeteria Catholics too.
A la carte Catholics, a la carte Christians.
I think it's really hard to follow the rule, but you're supposed to. This is the guilty me again talking, but then as you said, God will forgive you if you, sorry enough to say.
I think that's one thing I'm grateful having had two parents growing up with two parents with different faiths.
Different
because,
religion, yeah.
I mean, my dad who grew up Aglipayan, and if I forgot to mention, I did mention he was a retired diplomat, but he, even during his days when he was serving as an ambassador, when he was serving in countries as Libya, when he was the ambassador there, and his last posting as the ambassador to the U.S. in Washington, D.C. I mean, just observing him and how he was just so respectful and so open-minded towards me and my mom attending church every Saturday. That really infused that same sense of tolerance and respectability for other faiths and other religions, which I feel is also a core element in the Adventist faith. I mean, having respect and not being judgmental towards your fellow neighbor and towards your fellow God. And like he was mentioning earlier, that's basically a very core element of Christianity, is to love your fellow man and to give
second chance.
Yes, give second chances.
Did your religions ever have an issue about sex abuse cases, and how did your faiths deal with that problem?
I haven't heard of any documented cases of any sex abuse.
Because I can't believe that this is a purely Catholic matter.
Probably because our priests don't get married. Maybe they're supposed.
Is that a problem? Well, do your ministers get married? Are they allowed to get married?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
You say of course, but Catholics, they're not.
So is that the problem?
to.
Could that be the reason why you don't have that problem within your faith?
I think it really has a lot to do with the fact that, Adventists very much are monogamy based, and we don't. This has never been laid out on paper, but we don't adhere to a polygamy based type of relationship, which is probably prevalent in a number of other denominations. I won't say which ones, but
you don't have to mention. What
Yes,
what are your thoughts, Benjie?
Well, same here. I haven't heard of any documented cases of sex abuse
In the UCC?
In the UCC.
Huh.
Yeah.
So, do you have a concept of heaven and hell?
yes.
What is it? Explain it to us, please. You probably don't call it heaven and hell, right?
Well, we believe, us Adventists very much believe that there's a heaven with angels.
There is a heaven.
And
Okay.
Christ is currently there right now, although he's still watching over us and he's still with us spiritually.
okay.
And with the concept of hell, we actually don't believe that there's an existing a hell in
A place where you put people who are sinful.
Oh, that's
No, I mean not in the
It's like,
yes.
let's start researching
not the material or not that tangible
Not the
sense
tangible,
of hell.
okay.
But
Hey.
yes.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Wendell and Benjie, for a very enlightening conversation. I really wish priests and ministers and pastors should talk like regular folks and not sound like they are the voice of God. As a fitting end to our show, we would like to welcome Sophie Barreto and Kelvin Helena, who attend the Hillsong Church. The Hillsong Church has roots in Australia. It was founded 30 years ago. It's very Jesus Christ oriented, and they call their services authentic worship. Let's welcome to Makilala Sophie Barreto and Kelvin Helena to sing Spirit Lead Me.
Through the pain, through the fire, the struggle, the rain, Spirit lead me, cause I am ashamed to come here and start preaching your name, knowing that I'm unworthy to see your face, but through my mistakes I can see your grace fall on my face and you pick me up. Broken in pieces, you fix me up. Living in the dark, I appreciate the light. Living in the fear, I appreciate the love. Living all alone, I appreciate my family. Living unforgiven, I appreciate your son. Forgiving my enemies gave me strength, but I couldn't do it without your spirit. Living in the streets trying to gain respect, now I make decisions without my feelings. Spirit lead me, cause my flesh and my heart it is filled with these evil desires. You don't need me, but I need you, because without love I will burn in the fire. Spirit feed me, cause the bread that you give gives me life through the Christ the Messiah. You can read me, you can see that my soul wants your love and that's all I desire. In your presence the demons come out, if they're so tough what they screaming about. God does things we be dreaming about, praising him, that's what freedom's about. So I need you to raise your hands, close your eyes and clear your mind. Jesus died for your sins and mine, we're forgiven, so lift him high. The word says to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Don't lean on what you understand. Sometimes we don't understand anything. Sometimes we think we know something, later on we find out what we knew was so basic. What I learned is to put to practice what you know, and that's it. You can't practice what you don't know. If God has planted a seed in you and you're trying to find the Spirit to lead you, not letting the media lead you and all these other things that we're trying to find something to lead us. If you want the Spirit to lead you, seek him with all your heart. With all your heart, seek in any way possible. And you're gonna find him because he's gonna find you. Just seek him with all your heart. Do the possible and he will do the impossible in your life.
Yeah, and I pray that my heart and my mind will always be ready. Even when the darkest nights of my life be weighing me down
And it feels really heavy, just steady.
Listening to your spirit, reminding me, telling me my
Perfection from enemies.
Don't go outside, buying the lies they're providing and selling me. He died just defending me.
Realize that he still chose you.
We're living in a world where we all ask why. But we still run away from the truth, paralyzed by the fear in our eyes. Boy, are we confused when he created all the days in our lives, made a way before me and you could choose our God from above. Yeah, we found wisdom in your love. Went from feeling alone, now you welcome me home.
Being faithful ain't enough,
so I'll trust that there's nothing to fear. And everything that I am is the
best I could offer.
Your kingdom is here.
From beginning to end, you're the almighty author.
No lies will prosper. I don't have to pretend to live life with no father. No more being afraid. He conquered the grave, and now my whole life's at the altar. This love is so faithful, ever so flawless. I came face to face with the grace he gave to save all his sons and his daughters. Yeah. There was a time when Jesus had called Peter onto the water. And the only time Peter began to drown and sink was when he took his eyes off of Jesus. And I find that pattern in my life, that when I start to doubt, when I start to contain myself in these fears, and it becomes a way for me to just sink away, and Jesus lifts you up every single time. He's the author and the finisher of our faith, and in him everything is made perfect. Don't give up. Everything is possible through him, you know? Don't ever give up. And we've all been there. So everyone needs to hear that. Jesus loves you. He loved me. It's amazing. Amazing.
Amen. Glory to God.
Yeah.
guys. Congratulations. That was great.
Thank
Sophie
you.
and Kelvin, tell us a little bit about your Christian rap music. What inspired it?
Oh, well, just mistake after mistake in my life, I still saw Jesus' love be so prevalent and just chasing after me. So I just had to write about it, right?
The same thing with you, Kelvin?
Well, yeah, it's kind of like grew up such a negative place, which
Yeah.
shows people judging us for our tattoos and stuff.
Well, that's right.
But it's like when we found out about God, like the truth and light and forgiveness and love, it amazed me. It amazed me, give me feeling like.
So can you tell us where they can listen to the music again? Is it available online?
Yeah, you guys should go anywhere. You can go on Google. You can go type in K Psalms. That's KSALMZ.
Yeah.
And that's it. Everything else will come up from there.
All right. Thank you again, Sophie Barreto and Kelvin Helena.
Yes.
Thank you.